Welcome to the CU Scoop. I'm your host, Philip Dukes, aka Dukes the Scoop. Check me out on Twitter and Instagram at Dukes the Scoop. And please be sure to hit the like and subscribe button. If you want to support Dukes the Scoop, go hit the description and then you'll see where you can become a member. We got 3 different levels of support. Don't know what the perks are going to be. Not even going to lie to you. But if you want to support, you can become a member and help your boy out every once a month. All right. All right, man. We got to talk about the Buff fans. Had a really good, a quick but good conversation with Coach Prime the other day. And we talked about as far as what I need to be doing and how proud he is of me for doing what I'm doing. But even past that, we talked about the difference between going to fish, somebody giving you a fish, and having a fishing rod. All right. So, mind you, I need information so I can bring to you guys. And instead of giving me the fish, you gave me a fishing rod, pointing me in the right direction. These are some guys you might want to talk to go find out. So I go fishing for some information. And I came back with some pretty good information from Colorado winter workouts that you guys may be interested in. All right, so these are the names that I heard different things about. In no particular order, but these are just the names that have either flashed or made enough of an impression for multiple people in the Colorado building to tell me that they were impressed or they've impressed in some type of way. The names are Cam Michael, London Merritt, Draylon Miller, DJ McKinney, Jem Otis, Caden Salter, Zack Atkins, Julian Lewis. So each one of these guys has done something enough that multiple people have said, this guy's balling. We're excited to see him. He looks better than we thought he was. He's going to help us this year. This guy's a draft pick next year. So right now during winter workouts, you got limited time with the coaching staff. Most of the throwing sessions or 7-on-7, whatever it is going to be team led. And there's an NCAA rule that you can only have a couple of hours a week of football school. If anybody follows the channel as a whole, you'll see earlier on, you'll see in some of my Auburn videos, I do this winter workout update where I'm talking to people as far as to find out who's doing well in the weight room or any type of information with some of the connections that I have there. So being able to connect with some people on the Colorado side, I've been able to bring you guys back some information. So let's start with Cam Michael. What I'm hearing about Cam Michael in some of the passing sessions is one, fastest as all get out. I think that 10-4, 10-5, 10-3 speed. I think his personal record was a 10-3 and 100, but I think he's documented as a 10-4. Cam Michael is showing that next level speed to the point where guys are, some of the DBs have been like, whoa, hold up. Like, that's a different gear. We weren't looking for a guy his size to be that fast and to be under control. There were so many people who recruited him out of high school defensively because of what he did on the defensive side of the ball. But anytime, like, he was recruiting one of the top athletes and one of the top players in the country. You didn't get to see a lot of them last year due to injury. But Cam Michael is somebody that you got to be looking for this year. One, not just because of his athletic cachet and what he's done already on a high school level and how highly he was ranked. But man, this guy is just a top flight. He's a track guy almost. Like, he's a foot. A lot of times we see track play. We see track runners go play football and they say, okay, well, he's a track guy. This is a football guy with track speed that I think that now people are being able to see cut loose, and he's doing a great job. So Cam Michael was a name that's flashed already in some of these passing sessions and these group workouts. Another name that's been flashing that people are excited about in the Colorado building and Boulder, where they're saying this guy's going to help us. He could possibly help us year one is London Merritt. London Merritt, reportedly through practice, in some of these workouts, has shown a great level of lower bend and pass rushing moves already. Usually when you get a guy who's as physically talented as him, you bring in the talent and you say, okay, we'll get you a second and third move. Well, this guy's already has moves. Um, Now you're just fine tuning the moves. Like a lot of the times, high school guys, you're gonna see them. They just speed rush, bull rush, right? Well, this guy has multiple moves already, and he's developed enough physically where you can see him help on the defensive line this year. I think it's huge to hear this early on because when you get guys, you flip guys from certain situations, people love to say, especially when it comes to Colorado flipping the guy to saying, well, they didn't want him anymore, they dropped him. I know Larry Johnson at Ohio State was sick about losing London Merritt. He knew he had a diamond in the rough. This guy was a top 10 player in his class all the way up until maybe being like middle 11th grade year. He was always one of those guys that had the potential that you saw as like, man, but how tall is he going to get? So early on, they were thinking his guy was going to be a 6'5" type kid. Well, he ends up being 6'2", 6'3". But he didn't forget how to play football. So as they started to kind of sap his ranking based on the fact of, oh, he doesn't have this prototypical size, and other guys grew, London Merritt worked on his technique. He worked on his speed. He worked on his strength. He worked on his finesse. And the early signs in Colorado are saying that all of those things are boding well for him, and you'll see him. There's a very good chance you'll see him on the field in the fall, and a guy that people are really excited about being able to move around the defensive line, potentially even stand them up in this Rob Livingston defense. So that's another guy to be looking for. London Merritt is exciting people in Colorado. Um, this next, excuse me, my car makes on right quick. This next name that has been everybody's familiar with him. All the Colorado fans know him and love him. Played tremendous football last year. But DJ McKinney, right now, we're talking draft time, and we're talking about guys in this year's draft, as Colorado has the potential to have almost double digits. I think 8, 9 guys have draftable grades, whether it be late round or not. But DJ McKinney is somebody who you knew he had the tools on the field. It was about the maturity. It was about the leadership. It was about being a leader of men. And when he got his opportunity, when the Travis Hunters of the world and the Shallows and the Cam Stillman Craigs are gone, who's going to step up in that secondary and be the guy? And what I'm hearing is DJ McKinney is showing signs of being that leader in that secondary. He wants to roll. He wants to get better, and he sees his NFL future as scouts. Even though you're hearing there a lot of the conversation the conversations about scouts with Colorado, for what I'm hearing, is definitely been about the guys in this year's draft. But they're already kind of planting that seed, like, hey, what's up with that McKinney kid? He's definitely on people's radar. When you talk about a tall guy that can cover, this is where coming to Colorado helps you in the NFL. It is much easier to go from being a man cornerback, which Rob Livingston, we'll talk about that some more, but he basically primarily man system. It's much easier to go from a man cornerback to being a zone cornerback than to go from a zone cornerback to being a man cornerback. Travis Hunter last year is more of a zone corner, but he can do both because he's so athletically gifted. But when you look at his ball, and a lot of times you look at his ball skills, and that's what makes you think, okay, well, he's got to be a man corner. But in the NFL, he's gonna eat in a cover 3 scheme. Oh my goodness, he's gonna be so, because his ball skills and the way that he identifies and diagnoses plays to know when he can let a guy go, and he can know, he sees the top end of that route, the first part of that route. He's like, oh, know what he's doing. We can run trap to my side. Let me go get that. Right. But when you speak of a guy like DJ McKinney, we saw him excel when Rob did go to some zone coverage, but his man capability is what has NFL scouts like, wow. So to hear that already, that he's taking that next step as far as becoming a leader in that secondary, showing the maturity that you would want out of a guy with such a high NFL cachet. I mean, there are people that think that DJ McKinney could play himself into the first round when you talk to people over there at Colorado. So shout out to DJ McKinney, another name that has flashed already from winter workouts. His next name is a transfer in this year's transfer portal class. I think he's going to do huge things, and that's because he's a huge human being, and that's Jem Otis. They are so excited about what Jem Otis is going to be able to do on that defensive line and what he allows you to put around him. A guy who can literally play the 0 through the 5 at his size, well over 300 pounds. You put him at the 0, you put him at the 3, you put him at the 5, where you're going to get different things at each position, but he allows you to do different things around him as well. But by being primarily as that 0, just imagine you take him and Big Quinn. You put Quinn at the 0 and put Jem Otis at the 3 technique. Where are you going to run the ball? Where do you even have space to run the ball? These guys have been getting along good, and Otis has been definitely from what I'm hearing, has been a positive influence on Quinn, and Quinn has been a positive influence on him. These guys have been getting along, and they can't wait to play together. There are going to be packages where you see them in the game together, and it could be more often than not with Otis's athleticism. You can see him next to a guy like Barnes, and man, you talk about 330, 320 next to each other, like. So there is a high level of excitement for what Jem Otis can bring and will bring to the defensive line this year, coming out of winter workouts. And they said his body, he's a pro, a man's man. He's there saying, "Nah, he's a pro." Like so some of that what he brought a lot of that from Alabama with him, as far as taking care of his body, understanding what it takes to be good. So him being able to bring that in to Colorado and help shine some of that light on some of the other players is amazing. So shout out to Jem Otis. Draylon Miller. Draylon Miller has been used in a multitude of ways already. There's been very little install, but just him lining up in different positions is what has people kind of saying, all right, this guy may do something, have one of those crazy years this year. He's been in the backfield, he's been in the slot, he's been in the perimeter, already in the winter workouts. When you heard Coach Prime last year compare him to a Deebo Samuel, he wasn't lying. Now you'll be able to see. And one thing that Colorado did last year is that they played to their strengths. When you have one of the top quarterbacks in the country, you leave the ball in his hands. When you have a Travis Hunter, you find a way to force him the ball. This year, you don't have any of that. So what do? You spread the ball around to your most talented players, and you find ways to get them the ball, Draylon Miller is no exception. When you talk about who he was in that class, a top 100 player, Colorado beat a lot of good teams for his services. For him to be able to be highlighted in the way that I believe he'll be highlighted this year based off what they're doing with him in the winter portion is got to be exciting to be a Colorado for a Colorado Buffaloes fan. Right now, even now, with the very minimal install of 707 that you've seen, he's been able to do everything. And from everything I'm hearing, he's been dominant. Somebody who's really excited, who feels like, if not this year, that the way that he'll be able to score from this Colorado offense. Now, I'm not making any prediction, but Big 12 offensive player of the year is something that he has his mindset on. And even higher. I'm going to leave it at that. But just know the expectations for Draylon Miller and what he's saying around people in the know and what people who are in the know are saying about him is he has offensive player of the year potential in what he can do with their football and how excited they are to use it. So shout out to Draylon Miller, who got a lot of praise out of winter workouts. Zack Atkins is somebody who has impressed tremendously. The tight end prospect, I think, came from northern Missouri, northwest Missouri, I believe. Somebody, if I said that wrong, please correct me in the comments. But Zack Atkins has been so impressive, not just with them catching the ball, but with the way that his athleticism and the way that he's attacked the weight room. Literally, they say this guy comes to whatever he's doing on 100. They say that he has this air about him that's like, even though he had multiple options to go other schools, that he attacks it like he's happy to be there. Whether that comes from him being a converted wide receiver who didn't have any major offers coming out of high school, whether that comes from him being able to go to a team like Colorado, who knows? But they say he's bringing it in everything he does. Team run, bringing it. Weight room, bringing it. 707, bringing it. Individuals, bringing it. Group, bringing it. And that's basically your whole winner, right? So they're saying this guy, Zack Atkins, is making such an impact, and especially on the quarterbacks. The quarterbacks, Juju and Caden, both love him already. Let's get into Caden. Salter. They're saying Caden Salter right now, he just looks like a grizzled veteran. There are just some things that he's already understands the microphone. He already understands RPO in a way that I don't think anybody on the roster, nobody has that type of RPO live game experience that he has. And Colorado will be an RPO heavy team this year. You're gonna see it, and I think it's gonna help them a lot. Right now, Caden Salter probably gives you the best job of giving you all options, whether it be quarterback run, running back run, or throwing the ball. They said his early chemistry with Zack Atkins is off the chart so far. Early. Now, this is very early and very minimal settings, but they're saying that Caden Salter to Zack Atkins has been a thing already in these few couple of weeks. So shout out to Caden Salter for one. It's Andy Cannon. Like somebody was saying that he didn't have a strong arm. I don't know who said that, but literally, it's saying he got a rocket. Last but not least, Julian Lewis. Juju was very impressed with the first time he put that helmet on with the microphone in and controlling the offense. Literally, he impressed. I'm hearing that he impressed the offensive staff so much that they gathered after to talk about how much Julian impressed them with his control of the offense and what he's learned and getting the calls through the helmet in a very short period of time. And it wasn't a lot, wasn't a major sample size, but from everything I'm hearing, he's going to push Caden Salter. If you had to presume who's what right now, the experienced guy for sure, somebody who has experience at RPO, you probably would think Caden Salter. But I'm telling you, Juju is going to push this guy. And I love it for Colorado fans because they deserve it. You deserve to have two quarterbacks who can win you a football game in a multitude of ways. Julian Lewis has also surprised with the athleticism. So people were seeing his running stats. I think he had about 100 yards last year, tops rushing the ball. But he ran because, he passed the ball because he didn't have to run. Not that he couldn't. So I think his athleticism so far and the speed has been a little more impressive than what people have thought he was going to be able to do. There is some he is able to evade, and he has shown that he can be elusive. He's definitely not going to be able to run the ball like Caden Salter, but I'm not sure if Caden Salter is going to have that that short yardage accuracy that Juju has. So it's going to be a very interesting, very, very interesting quarterback competition. But the early returns on Juju has been wise beyond his years when it comes to the cerebral part of football. Something that we all know and we all talked about is, oh, he's going to be the most college-ready quarterback, and Juju is this prodigy. Well, he's proven it at college level already, and early returns from the first time he had that microphone in his helmet, getting plays and having to control the offense and simulating what the offense would look like. They were very encouraging to the point where, and I'll say this again, to the point where there was a small gathering of people talking about it like, hey, Juju is different and is very, very mature and poised beyond his years for a guy that's 17 years old, for a freshman, period. So that's my winter workout, Colorado offseason update so far. I'll try to get another one. If you want to know about a name, I talked about these guys because they flashed it. That's what they were, the names that popped up the most. I heard more names, but I wanted to make sure I heard it from multiple people. So these names came up twice, and if I asked, I was able to confirm. If you got a name you want to hear about, drop it in the comments. If you're a member, make sure if you're a member of the channel and you got a name, I'll make sure I go get that one. And thank you for your membership. If you want to stand out and make sure I get to your comment, become a member, drop a super chat, drop a like, don't matter. Gift, we ain't tripping. But I want to make sure that you guys are heard. Man, thank you for your time. As always, subscribe, like, Check me out on You Tell Me with Uncle Neely and Big Dog Chico. That's the morning run. You Tell Me is me and Uncle Neely, me and Colin Moore. Check me out on Colin Moore's channel. Well Off Media. We got some more stuff on the way. So, man, thank you for everything. And as always, follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Dukes D Scoop. I am out.